investment advisor or your broker. That's what they're there for, to give you advice, provide you with guidance. There's a disclaimer.
Perfect.
And let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. So today what I'll do, Will, is, well, first of all, if you guys have any questions, you can put those in the YouTube live chat where Will's looking at them and he'll read them back to me. If you want to come on a show with a question, we also put out a link to Zoom. If you click on that link, it takes you over to Zoom. Once you get to Zoom, click raise your hand. You don't have to turn on your video camera, but we'll be able to hear you. You could ask your question directly, navigate us to where you're looking at. Could be Market Chameleon tools, analytics, data, strategies. If you want to share something with us that's been working or not working, that'll be beneficial. You can come on a show and do that. While we're waiting for any questions to queue up, I'm going to go over the pre-market report. And also we did release a new feature over the weekend. It's brand new, so we'll see how today, if it's, anytime we release a feature, we try to test it for as much as we can. If it's bugs, I'm sure people report it and we fix it along the way. But I'm going to go over that feature. It's the new landing page. We were talking about kind of developing a centralized alert system. So after the pre-market report, I'll start on that. If we have any questions come in, then I'll take the questions. Okay, well.
So, I know that landing page. I know Rob, who's on pretty much every morning, used to love the landing page. So I hope the new one excites him more. We'll see.
Okay, so this is the pre-market report, pre-market movers. We have the most active stocks, biggest percentage gainers, biggest percentage decliners. I'm going to come down here. I see 59 stocks made our percentage gainers list, 35 on the decliners list. So from that perspective, looks like a little bit more bullish bias at the open. So let's filter out this list down to S&P 500 stocks to see if we see a similar situation. I'm going to come up here, use this filter in ETF, drop it down. I'm going to pick SPY by picking this SPY ETF. That's the S&P 500 ETF. This will get filtered down to SPY holdings or S&P 500 constituents. And we see 5 made the percentage gainers list, 3 on the decliners. So pretty much even, slightly more bullish than bearish, but kind of even on that. So
how low did Netflix get? I mean, it is amazing to see it at even $193. Like in my head, it seems like such a higher price stock.
So right here, once I just clicked on Netflix, this when you click on this, it takes you down to further data of pre-markets. These here are pre-market minute-to-minute VWAPs below. So if you wanted to see how it's trading in a pre-market hours, you have minute-to-minute summaries with volume, VWAP price, volume weighted average price, high, low per minute. But this is the 52-week low, 162.71. It's been as high as 700. So
so it has bounced off that bottom, and now
yeah, it's definitely bounced off the bottom. But still, it would much closer to the low than the high. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it starts to behave when the market turns. Like what you'd want to see is that as the market's going down, if it starts to outperform, right? Maybe not necessarily have to go up, but starts to not go down as much as the market. Maybe that's where it's starting to. But they have a lot of competition now, right? Like you got so many streaming. At one point, they were like the only ones really in that movie streaming business. They were dominant. Now, I don't know. I turn on my TV and I see apps everywhere. You got Hulu and free ones like Tubi. So a lot of competition in that streaming space for Netflix. I think HBO is now kind of like streaming as well. You can do like HBO on the go, right? So
and is Disney is spending a lot of money on their streaming business. I mean, it's
Yeah, a lot. Do they own Hulu or part of Hulu?
I think they do. Yeah.
So you have that, Amazon Prime. If you're a member of Amazon, I think you get that included. So you could, so they're in the streaming video space. So I think it's just at
As
this
is Apple, right? Apple streaming stuff now.
Apple, yeah. So I think that is just going to be, it's just the competition out there now is fierce, for streaming and content. Um, Twitter, I think, still in the news. Looks like they're down 2.2% this morning, and I think people are just starting to believe that he might be backing out of this deal. The way he's behaving, maybe he's changed his mind, especially like with the sell-off in the market last month. We were talking about that earlier, that he might just be looking for an out at this point.
Yeah, no, I think all day we spent almost all day on Friday discussing it.
Yes.
It's interesting because these discussions are so interesting because it made me think afterwards about, and it's hard to know what he's really doing, right? But, in my mind, just in the commentary between the community, you, me, there's so many potential items he's looking at and the things he sees relative to the entire economy, where he's just like, wow, I may, it could be really risky in 6 months, a year with interest rates, if they bring interest rates to a place to stop the inflation that he's probably seeing in all his businesses,
yeah, exactly.
it could put some real pressure on this market. Not that we haven't had real pressure, but the pressure could continue, right?
I think that's why, in my opinion, he might be getting nervous, not just because the market went down or it's what he's seeing in his businesses. I think he's actually seeing a slowdown, and he sees things real time, right? So it's not the same thing when we see an SEC filing, that's already like a historical data point that's, the accounts go through and then they say, this is how you did last year. He's seen what's going on right now. And I'm thinking that probably, he's seen a big slowdown in his businesses. He's seen a big slowdown in like other people in the technology stocks, because he knows a lot of people in that space, right? And that's probably what's spooking him more than just a sell-off in the market. I think he has seen a big slowdown.
Yeah, I think he's looking, a year, 2 years, 3 or 4 years out and say, how many money losing businesses potentially can I have going if there's no access to public funds, right?
Right.
He's got the boring company that he was planning on taking public, which there's no public nothing's going public right now, right? It's really hard to raise money. He's got the boring company, he's got the the space company, and then he would be taking on Twitter, which is hit or miss. It's not like a great cash flow. And if the EV market slows down, he's back to where he was when he was 5 years ago, when he was like sleeping on the manufacturing floor of Tesla, trying to get things out of close to bankruptcy.
Because he wasn't buying. If you read his plans, he wasn't buying Twitter because he thought, oh well, they have they don't have any bots or they have this many users. If you read his plans, it's completely, he's transforming Twitter. He's got plans to bring it to 1 billion users, and monetize it in different ways that don't even exist. So even this doesn't matter if it's 5% bots or 6 or 8 or 10. He's buying the brand and the technology as a basis to build what he envisions, right? He had a totally different vision. He wasn't buying it like a bond where I'm like, oh, well, I was buying it because I thought I was going to yield this much, and now I'm only yielding that much. So he definitely, I think that's what he's seeing is a signal, an indicator that he's getting spooked, right? And it might be a slowdown. He's seen the slowdown, like Facebook is seeing the slowdown, Amazon, all of them, it's hitting him too. So, well, that's at least our opinion, right? But that's how it seems. And I think he just wants out.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but we've been
Yeah.
wrong lots.
Yeah. Yeah. We could be wrong, but that's the feeling I'm getting. Let's take a look at, so I'm going to go to the landing page right now.
All right. Well, before you
And-
start, just so you know, Rob did chime in. He said, "Can Dee please show us how these features on the new page, and if we can access similar potential trades like the old landing page gave us?"
Yeah. So the old landing page was basically credit put spreads. Okay, so that's the only thing that was on there, and that's because it was the most popular feature. So you, to get the credit put spread, if you go to the screeners, go to bulk put spreads.
Well, when you say
Right.
that's the most popular feature, that was people coming to the site and in the marketplace when people are looking at options trades. The credit put spreads tend to, and if you hear Thomas Petterfy talk on CNBC when he's on, he always talks about his customers doing credit put spreads. So in the entire marketplace, it's a popular trade, right?
So yeah, so I think that when people were coming over to our website, that was the most requested screener and requested strategy. That it wasn't the only, it's just
No, I got
that
you.
one
Yeah.
seemed to be the, the more frequently one. So that's why we kind of put it out there, because it gets asked a lot more than others, right? So it's not the, people trade covered calls, people trade earnings, people trade. So when I say it's most popular, I wouldn't say like 90% people do that. And it's not like that, but I would say that, it gets asked more frequently than a covered call or just a straight, call or put buying. The credit put spread just gets asked more frequently. So that's why we put it there. And I just think that doing spreads, it's a better risk reward ratio than just outright doing a call or put. So we kind of featured that in the landing page. And if you want to do that, go to the credit put spread, and you see here, we have these drop downs. These are our preset filters. So these are preset filters from here. And if you click on it, right, it will use those presets, and basically then you have an entire list, right, of stocks. And what that landing page was doing was using this preset filter and showing you the top, I think, like 10 or 15 by market cap. So you still have it. There's no, it's right here. It's not taken away. You get the same thing. You can refresh the screen. So there's nothing there that's changed that you won't get access to it. It's just, it's just not there on the landing page all the time. But these would be this, this is where you would go get them. Sound good?
Perfect.
All right. On top of that, though, what's going on is with this centralized system is you will get still alerted to, different types of spreads. It could be credit put spread, it could be a credit call spread, it could be bullish, bearish. So the idea here is it's scanning the databases of the markets and trying to bring, to your attention things like, well, here's a credit split. And by the way, this will also have calendar spreads. So right now we don't have a screener for calendar spreads, because there's so many screeners. We could probably maybe I'll create one, but there's so many screeners you could do where you could have like 1,000 screeners. So some of the things we might have to do scan internally and bring it out as an alert. So this will have credit spreads. By the way, you're going to see things on here that you're not going to see on yours, because remember, this is my internal website. So I use this for testing, and I got other things in there you guys don't see. So if you're looking at it and it doesn't match up with what you're seeing, that's because this is my internal page. And what it's going to do is throughout the day, it's going to scan, like I said, different strategies, and it'll pop them in there. And then when you click on it, you click on it here, It'll give you more details to the right, so you can read about it. And we also brought down here, when you click on it, for the same symbol, here's PM. So you don't have to leave the page. You have the options chain here. If you want to switch to, some of these other pages we're still bringing in. So news, investor sentiment, you could switch. You don't have to leave this page. So be down here, right? You could go back to the options chain, and then when you're done, you could just go to the next symbol. Okay, so here, this is just bringing an alert. Well, Philip Morris is having an event. You might not see this. Some of these that are getting pushed out are based also on stocks that I've been probably, recently viewing, added to my watch list, whatever it is. Those will get more weighting. So that's why you don't see these numbers that I'm seeing, but your feed might look different than my feed. All right, because once there are alerts that are piling in, the system is trying to tabulate, symbols or alerts that will give you a priority, based on like some of the behavior that you've been doing. So if you're clicking or searching symbols or clicking on certain things, it'll just give it more weighting internally to push it out. So here, right now, we're in a pre-market. Markets aren't open, so it's not looking at the different option strategies. But you don't have this here. I have it, so I could kind of jump to different strategies. Right now, as I'm testing it, eventually I'll make a prettier version for you guys. But let's say repeat. I'm not sure if I'm getting it from Fridays. Okay, so these were all cleared out. So until the markets open up, I don't think I'm getting anything from Fridays, right? Because we published this on Saturday morning. So that's the way right now it's set up. The alerts will come in here. When you click on them, you could read more about it here. And if you want to go down and do further research, we brought up related pages. All right, so let me just see if I could find. So it will pop in. I was hoping to get one from Friday to show you guys, but like here's NU, it's coming up. It's alerting us it's coming up with earnings after market close since Friday. Options were pricing a 23.8% move. So you could kind of go in here, see there's only two actually historicals. So I think tomorrow, what we'll do is come back and start looking at some of the different strategies that it was filtering out.
All right, we did have a couple questions. Rob was asking, the news alert is great. Is there a way to get the S&P or other indexes as trade at is? Currently, it only lets you see your watch list.
Wait, which on here? What do you mean?
I'm assuming it was on here, but he may be going to another feature.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this. Are you talking about the market alerts here or a different? It sounds to me like it's a different feature.
All right, Rob, we'll just expand on that if you would.
Yeah.
The question.
This isn't just your watch list. This is like, this will give you general. It's just scanning the markets. It will scan out things that.
So that market alerts has nothing to do with your watch list. That's good. Everyone's seeing the same thing who has the feature.
So it's not everybody's seeing the same thing. So if you have a watch list, your symbols in your watch list will get more weighting and you might see them more frequently. Right. But it's not based on just your watch list. So, if you type in Tesla and you put in Tesla into your watch list, then if there are, 5 alerts, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, whatever, and it has to decide which one to show you, it's going to give Tesla more weighting and say, show the Tesla. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if not, the next one will give you Google, Microsoft. So it's not based just on your watch list, just the stocks in your watch list get a higher weighting window. So alerts queue up and it gets a higher weighting.
He did come back. He is seeing it on the land. He is talking about the landing page. I'm assuming it's the third tab over that says news scanner. That's
This
what
one?
Rob was asking him. Yeah,
Right.
I think he was asking, that was what he was asking. It feels to him like it's just his watch list, and he goes on that he would like to add, the individual underlines in the SPY. Is there a way to get that without actually going in and typing all the SPY symbols into his stock list?
Well, the easiest way to do it is if you drop this down and pick SPY, this will filter by holdings in the S&P 500. So see here, all these symbols are part of this S&P 500, right? So that's one way to do it. And
I think that's what he was asking for. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The other thing is, you see how you get these investor action reminders, and they come up very frequently. You could look for certain keywords or you could exclude keywords. So let's just say, anytime I see this investor action, I know what it is. It's, those class actions. So I could just exclude, investor action, and say it disappears. So anything with investor action will get taken out. So if you want to take class action out, or anything like awards, if you see like things, you could exclude words and you could save it and then come back. So you see I have my saved screens, like no class action. So that will take out class action alert. And then I have the symbols here. These are pre-market changes, by the way. So over here, I think we're in pre-market mode. See, pre-market. So you could even sort by stocks moving into pre-market in here. Right? So these are not here in the ETF. You have this. So here S&P 500, that's really quickly if you wanted to go and see what news is coming out. If you want to do it, of course, if you want to do your watch list, you could even add S&P 500 and then on top of that, anything in your watch list.
Yeah, and Rob is asking a bunch of questions. I invited him on maybe tomorrow to come on live, just so we get him in order. But he then, and it's going back to, he says, is the filter window default just available to D currently? My landing page does not have that little window, he's asking.
Which window?
Again, the default, there's a filter window. It says default, just available to D currently. My landing page is not. It may have been on the previous page.
Okay, so this one right here, this is not available to you guys. This is only available to me while I'm still in testing. So like I said, you're going to see things in here that are not on your list, but the idea is right now, as I'm building it up and testing it, will be available. But here, this is just for me to quickly hop to stuff to test. Yours might look something, I don't know, let's see, eventually something like this where you could turn on and off different types of alerts. So this is still in development. The reason we started with this alert is not because we're finished completely. It'll probably be ongoing, but I do get emails all the time, just push it out and, we'll test it out and, we'll be the beta tester. So I'm like, okay, I think we reached a good enough point that we could push something out that I think is workable while we continue to build on top of it. So it's not a complete version today. There might be bugs in it as well. It's a very complicated. This is actually one of the more complicated things we built. To even if it looks simple in the background, it's not. So, so we'll see how it goes after today and this week. But yeah, you're not going to see this or anything up top here. Maybe here if you enter simple, I think this you might be able to see.
All right. Well, Rob was asked the same filter that you showed in the news scanner, and it was my fault that I didn't get it from the trade ideas. I know there was a comment made that I'm not getting the typed information to you the way it's reading to other people, but that's why coming on live for anyone who has questions, I know Rob will come on tomorrow, is so helpful because I'm trying to interpret it as I'm talking to you and get as many of these things. And Rob uses these features a lot. So he is very interested. And Rob, again, email me. We can do a test today if you want to test your Zoom just to make sure for tomorrow. But he's asking the filter you just used in the news scanner, can that same filter be used in the trade ideas? I guess for the trade ideas, he wants to look at the SPY, and other than typing 500 symbols in there, can you filter the trade ideas tab?
So not in here you can't filter like in here you mean not like the S&P 5. You could do by your watch list, or so the idea is not to, the trade ideas is not to have 500 different symbols showing up in here. It would be too much. You won't be able to go through all of them anyway, so it's really
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because you did that scan for Rob, and Rob and actually I don't know if it was Mike, but someone else agreed with Rob that he does that scan and it's like trying to see the trees through the forest. There's so many ideas. What he liked about the original landing page is there were like, however they were, it came up, there were like 10 he could look at. And from those 10, he was able to get an idea or two to start researching.
Right. And that's kind
of, I think what he's looking for is a replication of that. And he also liked the description that would occur on that original landing page. And Rob, correct me if I'm wrong on tomorrow's show, but he liked to be able to look at the description, how, the analysis had been laid out by us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, well, you can do, like I showed you, whatever that was on that landing page, you could still do, right? You could still go to the credit put spread screener and, see the top 10.
Well, show us, because he just got a huge list. Show him again how to do the top 10.
So if you go to screeners, right, bull put spreads.
So this is basically the same list that was on the previous landing page.
Yeah. So this is the credit put spread. It takes these preset filters, right? Like right here, you could take this preset filters, and you have different reports you could go through. And then what it did was it took, you see, these are all sorted by market cap. It took the top 10 by market cap ideas. That's what it did. So anything so there are 191, but the landing page didn't list you 191. It just took the highest market cap ones that fit the criteria.
And then to get the description that used to be there, you'd probably just click on the analysis, right? Open the analysis.
So on this one, it doesn't have the description on this one. It does it, I think, on a trading card. So if you go to like Microsoft, and I think that once you press on the trading card, it has a description. Now the alerts will have a description as well. Let me see where. So if you do trade ideas, you could find it in here, bull put spread. You click on the report, and in here, like this, description. I don't remember, unless there's a different one, but I believe that's what he's looking, maybe the report. But on the alerts here, it will give you a description to the right. like a short, brief one. So you will see a description to the right. And we'll go over it tomorrow, because right now there are no, it's too early, because we published it on Saturday. It started, didn't look at Friday's trading. So today I think it will look, throughout the day, it's going to look at today's trading. It'll pop up. You can read descriptions, but we'll go over it tomorrow morning. You will have a description, in here, like, well, what's going on here? Like, what is, so we try to write about it.
Yeah, we did have a question from Mike about that. He was like, when does it update? And I'm assuming, like everything else, it's on
a time, right? It's on a timer in the background, alert, it's building up alerts, looking. So throughout the day, it's constantly looking at the markets and scanning, right? And when it meets certain criteria thresholds, what it will do is then create an alert, and this will be updating throughout the day, all day. It'll start updating, like, every couple minutes you're going to see new ones. So these are good questions. Today will be like our first run, right? So when it'll start at probably around we're in a 15-minute delay, so at 9:45 the market data starts coming in. It starts going into the database. The database starts capturing the data, then it does lots of analysis on it, starts looking through the benchmarks, through the historicals, running analytics, theoreticals, and so forth. And then after it runs through that process, it pushes out alerts. So probably around, like, I don't know, maybe like 9:50, we'll start seeing things coming in. These alerts are right now all happening pre-market, right? So it's just alerting things that are moving in a pre-market, also events that are coming up in a pre-market. It's just letting you know. So some of these stocks, are going to have events, probably stocks I've searched before, and it's just letting me know, hey, Wednesday there's going to be an event. I could click on and read about it, and if I wanted to do anything, if I have a position, or I'm curious about this event, and I want to look at the options market, it just gives me an alert ahead of time.
All right. Well, everyone here got the first peek at what's going on with this new land, and this is supposed to be really set up as a dashboard to manage your trading day, right? And to start your insight into the day. But we'll be going over it all week. And Rob, come on tomorrow, and I'm sure there'll be lots of questions. Everyone test it out. Let us know what you think. Dima, great job.
Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great trading day, and stay safe out there. Hope to see you guys tomorrow.